story is about the Julian hero, Julia, who's this stubborn girl who's grown up mute her whole life and struggling to communicate with everybody. They're going out into the world to try to find this mysterious person named the healer because their village has come down with a sickness and many people are dying. Not many people know about the world around them, and so they're going out there even against their villages. You know, their village is warning them, if you can't come back from this. It's a land that is sick, as we come to find out. There's something that's gone through that is killing off people. Some of them are turning into these creatures that are called the Dying. They're just running around and devouring people. And there are other creatures all over the place that were, they're from centuries and centuries in the past. Julie and Hero are in this tiny, tiny town. And, in some ways that's connected to how I grew up, right? Growing up in a tiny town, and there's this enormous world. And this journey is going to bring them together. There's a story about how I came into movies. I kind of started off by writing plays when I was in high school.
I think I heard that one.
And so I wanted to be a writer since I was in the 4th grade, and I used to write just like stupid things about me and my friends fighting. My senior year, I really got into playwriting. I just took it as an elective class because I needed more English in order to pass high school. And so I took a film studies class my first semester, and then I took a playwriting class right after. And I never really thought about making movies until I saw Magnolia when I was 19. And I watched it the first time and I said, what the hell was that? I need to make a movie that's more like that, or something that made me feel that way, or just so that somebody else could feel the way that I felt when I saw it. I grew up in a swamp. A swamp was my backyard. I lived in the middle of nowhere. And so going out into the woods, I saw, wow, we have this incredibly beautiful state, New Hampshire is. It's got great open scenery. We've got, great woods. We've got quarries. We've got castles, as we've learned. We've got a lot of different things that we can use in a traditional fantasy story. So I figured this is a good chance to, show off New Hampshire. We don't see New Hampshire in movies. There are very few that take place around here. We decided that we were going to use that for our movie. It's a great location, and I know it well. Almost everybody involved in the movie is related to New Hampshire in most ways. I'm obviously from there. My producer is from there. A lot of whether or not our crew necessarily grew up around here, they've been around here. When it comes to many of our actors, our extras, and our investors, they're all people that are giving into this movie. And a big part of it is because it's showing off, hey, this is the place that we live in. Hey, we exist too. And so these people want to show. It's a cool thing when they want to show New Hampshire as much as we do. I write what I know, and I happen to only know about New Hampshire. I always wanted to get into fantasy. That was, when I first started reading and writing books, it was all about fantasy. For people that really get into stories, which I think science fiction is something that people really, really feel attracted to, talking about Star Wars, Star Trek, and then you start going into Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. These are all stories that people really, really find themselves drawn into to the point where they kind of feel like they need to be part of this world. And they want to be characters there, and they want to know more about it. And the fact that you can create something that somebody would have so much interest in outside of just the simple story that we're going to tell is something that's really, really cool. And I feel like I owe it to an audience. You owe it to an audience to know the place perfectly. I'm going to spend hours upon hours creating the world mentally and physically, through visuals, through dialogue, through sound, all that stuff, so that other people can feel like you're in the movie. When you go to the movies, it's the closest thing you can feel to magic. You're sitting there and you feel the entire thing around you, right? You hear everything. And we as people always psychologically put ourselves into the situation. That's why we get scared, or why we get nervous, or why we get excited. And so, I think absolutely the creation of the world, when it comes to, you're talking about Tolkien, you're talking about George R.R. Martin, you're talking about George Lucas. These are huge inspirations, and you take little things from them, but then kind of just spin them off in your own way. And if you don't know your world, your audience is going to know. They're going to completely give up on it because they have to feel like they were part of it. And so when it comes to creating this place, there's more time spent figuring out, why is this world the way it is? What's the past? when it comes to the Mudmen, or Mud Beasts, or whatever anybody wants to call them, I mean, it was the first scene I came up with was because of them. I wanted to create my own creature, my own something, and when it came to the Mudmen, I started building them, and I came up with so many different ideas as to why the Mudmen would be the way they are, or what are they exactly like. And there was just this one scene that came to my mind, and this is how I think all movie writing process is, or at least for me. I'll just be sitting there. I'll have a very, very general idea of what I want to do with something, and then all of a sudden, one scene comes to me, and the scene better sell me. And this one scene came to me with the Mudmen. I won't totally spoil it, but this one scene came to me, and I thought, yeah, that's a movie. Right? That one scene is a movie. I'll watch a movie just for one scene, and they say that every great movie is just 3 good scenes and no bad ones. And so if I can make three more, if I can make 2 more of those, then I'll have a great movie. But there's those moments, and there are moments when you want to give up and you want to go, okay, I'll move on to something else. But then you remember that one scene that got you going, and go, okay, well, that's a movie. I might not have anything else, but I have that, and that's a movie.